Good morning and happy Halloween. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. I'm your host, Chump Change. This is live and recorded. For those of you that might be new here, what we typically do is go over crypto news or news in general in the space, update myself, bring you guys along for the ride. Let's see who's in the house, then we'll get into this. Mr. Steven Cicero, as always, appreciate you, buddy.
Perfect.
We have 20011 with all the pumpkins in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. Dom G, Andrew Masad, good morning. Canadian Miner, good to see you. Black Hat Team, let's see. Savage White, good morning. Alexander, good morning. Let's see. Scrolling down, sorry. Triple Nickel, we got Mike R, Regilio, Charlie, good to see you. Son of Rabbit. Hello friends, back from a holiday. How's it going? Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. I didn't go on a holiday, but we're still here and we're having a good day. Let's get into it. Bitcoin 72,376 bucks. Bitcoin's been holding. It's been holding 72k, which is amazing. We got Ethereum at 2633, not doing as hot as Bitcoin, but it's all right. It'll catch up eventually. Solana, well, not really. It probably won't catch up, but it'll do much better than 2600, I'm sure. Solana, 175 bucks. We got XRP at 51 cents. TRX over here at 17 cents. Litecoin at 71.5 bucks. Near Protocol at $4.21. We got Caspa finally in the green at 11.5 cents, up 9% today. It was the biggest loser yesterday.
Perfect.
Finally comes back a little bit. Look at that. We got ETC at 19 bucks, 19.13 to be exact. Celestia is down a bit today, right here, $4.59, down about 7.5%. Dogecoin's been killing it lately, 17 cents, been holding up pretty high. ADA's at 35 cents. I think ADA is going to do very well this bull run as well. At least I hope so. Let's see. I don't have too much of it, but I think it's a good coin. I think it's an easy, like, 3, 4, 5x. Toncoin, $4.92 over here, down 1.81%. BNB is at 584 bucks. Let's see, man, meme coin's just in the green today. Caspa's in the real green. I'm kind of shocked, to be honest. Actually, let me zoom that out. We'll need it again. All right, crypto bubbles over here. Let's see, what is the biggest earner? What is this one? I'm not Kaya, is that how you say that? I don't even know how you say that. 13.6% up today. No idea what this is. Never seen this symbol before ever. It's ranked 83rd. Man, this must have jumped into the top 100 like yesterday. Interesting. It's at 14 cents. Does anybody know what this is? I have no idea what that is. I don't even know what that symbol is. It's like a pear on acid. I don't know what's happening there. Or it's an A with a dingleberry. We got Mog over here, 13.2% up on the day. I assume that's another meme coin. Looks like a cat laughing. Caspa, 9.4% again up on the day, looking like 11.5 cents. We got Maker, 8.7% on the day, up. It's $1,300, $1,310 to be exact. Crazy. Yeah, nothing else really jumping out at me. All right, Flashbang, Fear and Greed Index over here, looking like a 77.
Bruh.
Didn't move at all. Didn't move at all from yesterday. It's probably because Bitcoin didn't move at all. Just been hanging around 72,000. But be fearful when people are greedy. Be greedy when people are fearful. I'm wondering if the election is going to be a sell the news event. I really am wondering if we're going to have a little bit of a pullback once that election happens. I guess depending on who wins. I think if Trump wins, it's probably going to go up a little bit faster than if she wins. But I guess we'll have to see. Who knows? Anyways. Top 10 coins by coin market cap over here on CoinGecko, starting with Bitcoin at a $1.4 trillion market cap. We got Ethereum, Tether, BNB, Solana, USDC, XRP, Lotto Staked Ether, Dogecoin, and Tron over here in 10th place at a $14.6 billion market cap. We got Cardano at 11th place. Look at that. It flipped Toncoin. Wow. I didn't see that coming. A 12.8 billion to a 12.5 with just Toncoin. Nice. It's nice to see Cardano climb a rank. I think Cardano deserves top 10. Get Tron out of there, will you? Please. Or one of these other coins out. Get XRP out of here, to be honest. get this one out. I don't think it's gonna happen. Or Lotto Staked Ether. I don't care about either of those. All right, let's see. Litecoin 24th place at a $5.3 billion market cap. We got Near Protocol at a 5.1 in 25th place. We got Caspa at a 2.8 in 35th place, and Ethereum Classic at a 2.8 in 36th place. Those are the coins I really care about. Render is doing all right. Not really. I lied. It's under $5. $4.89 might be a good buying opportunity for Render, to be honest. It's at a $1.9 billion market cap. I think Render's going to do fine. It actually does have a use case, if you guys didn't know. All right, let's jump into the mining segment of things. If you guys have any questions, just at me in the chat. Bitcoin will flip gold, hopefully. Could be a nice Hadouken, wouldn't it? Let me refresh this quick. All right, looking over here, top miners. You guys know, like, the timestamp this stuff. We got the L9 17 gigahash unit over here making 2880 a day. The L9 16 gigahash unit making 2710. We got the AL1 Pro over here, 16.6 terahash unit making 2376. How is lithium doing this morning? Let's see. Down 2.34%, $1.28. At least it's higher than it was the other day, right? It's about 10 cents higher, or sorry, 20 cents higher or so, 18 roughly, right? Yeah, it's looking all right. Could be worse. Everybody's trying to get their money back. I get it. The AL1 15.6 terahash unit making 2231. You guys remember when these things were making $1,100 a day? It's terrible. The DG1 Plus over here, 14 gigahash unit, has jumped into the 5th place over here, $21.36 a day. Nice. We got the AL3 over here. This is the lithium miner from Ice River, 15 terahash unit, making 2116 a day. We got, let's see, I'm just gonna go down to the L7, my 9050. You guys know I got this thing down at Terra Hosting. Shout out to them. If you guys are interested in hosting, links in the description. This thing's making $11.67 a day. Perfect. That's amazing. That's amazing for a 3-year-old plus unit. That's crazy. I'm very happy with that, actually. I didn't think it was gonna get over $10. That's nuts. That's crazy. I mean, I guess it will. Realistically, everything goes up, right? When the market rises, the profits go up. So that's crazy. That blows my mind. That thing's $11 right now. That's nuts. 85% of that's in Dogecoin, but you guys get the gist. Money's money. I don't care where it comes from. All right, let's see. We got the AL2 Lite over here. Look at this thing, a lithium miner. This is one of the new Ice Rivers. 2 terahash unit making $2.74 a day. Man, I wonder if they're gonna come out with any new miners, or if they're all just, everybody's just waiting until after the election for the actual boom, and then they're gonna release the new stuff, because I haven't seen anything really new popping out. This RXO, I only know a couple people that got these 260 gigahashes, only making 24 cents a day. Jesus. RXO, let's look at is it RXD, the Radiant? Yeah, down 3.7%. Jeez. I don't think this coin was ready for an ASIC. It definitely wasn't. This was the hype. This was the fake pump me up, and then the shit rolls downhill parts right here. Oh man, you know what, just listen, if you have one of these, just keep stacking the coins. Just hold this one. The market cap's low. You have a good chance to double your money, triple your money, or triple your money, you know. That's the only really way to play this. You can't sell that, and those units weren't really that expensive. They're like $300 or something, $400 maybe. I think they were 3, right? So it could be worse. You didn't spend too much to get it. Just hodl this one. That's what I would do. All right, moving on. Let's see GPUs over here. See what the GPUs are like. Looks like a Leo still top of the charts, and Wart as well on the BC250. Xano a little bit mixed in here. Able, Zealous. All right, let's check out a Leo real quick. 3.6% up today. Nice. $1.51. All right, got a little bit of a jump. From yesterday. Doesn't look that great in 7-day. Zealous is down 4.4% to $3.47. Yeah, we need an alt season. Looks like a Leo is top of the charts though. All right, let's look at Chlor. 1.4% down, 8 cents. That might be a good buy. That could be a good buy, actually. That might be a really good buy. Let's see. I guess it went down to 5 cents. September, 4 cents. Geez. But if it has another run up, it's pretty decent. It went up to, what's the all-time high on Chlor? 44 cents. Jesus, 80% down. These are the coins I like to get into. I like to get into coins at 80% down that have use case. That's that might be a decent buy. Not financial advice. You guys do what you want. Let's see. I see you wore a costume under the Under Armour costume for Halloween. Oh, I wore my Under Armour costume for Halloween. Sorry, I totally butchered that sentence. I don't know what the hell I was thinking you just said.
But private job growth.
Oh God. All right, we're gonna get into the news segment of things. I want to see what they got to say over here. The market wants to see the election done and not drag on. Let's get into it.
But private job growth beat expectations, and PCE, a inflation measure, if I'm calling correctly, is on deck tomorrow, followed by the jobs report on Friday. That's November 1. So what does all this mean for the market? Assis Shah is Chief Investment Officer of Public Investing at Goldman Sachs Asset Management. Mike Santoli is our senior markets commentator. Assis, I'm going to begin with you and ask you a question I did right before we came on the air. Are you surprised the market has had this sort of unrelenting upward course that it's had all year long?
Look, I'm not surprised, because if you think back to 12 months ago, where we have had a 40% rally from 12 months ago, the world was a really scary place. You had positive correlation, you had across bonds and stocks, right? So your stocks were going down, your bonds were going down, investors were not happy. And over that 12-month period, what's happened is that you've seen a rally in bonds, you've seen the Fed start to ease, you've seen the economy stabilize, and you had this kind of growth from AI that is just creating a tremendous amount of economic growth and value within the stock market.
The AI trade, Mike Santoli, has certainly been one of the animators this year. Can it continue?
Well, I think it obviously can continue. The question is, how much has the market maybe already figured out? I think what's been interesting is it was really the first half of this year when that was really dominating, consuming most of the oxygen in the market, that AI trade, the mega cap tech group. If you go from, let's say, July 10th, happen to have these numbers off the top of my head, that was right after a very benign CPI report. That's the peak in the NASDAQ 100. We're still not back to it. The broad S&P 500, the equal weight S&P, the Russell 2000 have all vastly outperformed since then, because you have had this sense of the Fed has clearance to ease a bit into a firm economy. Earnings growth is broadening out. So I think you can have more than one thing happening at one time, which is excitement over AI and the rest of the market too. I will say though, S&P up 22% year to date, trading at 22 times forward earnings. It's obviously not an inexpensive or really underexploited bull case anymore, but I think it's still intact.
Ashish, I guess the question now is, if you thought it was obvious we were about to take off on a 40% increase, please tell me what the next 12 months are going to bring and the election outcome and all the rest of it, because we always worry that when optimism about the market is now so high is the moment when things are going to unravel. So
look, I think that you are going to see positive returns in equities from here on out, but I think it's going to come in a different way. And as was just highlighted, you've seen kind of a different market since July. July, August, September, it really does feel like a very different environment where the market's broadening. One of the trades that I think is really interesting is what I like to call the power pivot, where you're seeing not AI stocks, but you're actually seeing kind of the stocks that benefit from AI. Whether it's utilities, industrials, other parts of the economy where investment needs to happen to facilitate this economy going forward. That's what's going to propel us into this forward cycle. I think the other thing that's fantastic to see is that as the Fed pulls its foot off the brakes, right, other parts of the economy that have been holding back because there just wasn't enough capacity to grow, they're able to take hold and generate returns for those companies. Meanwhile, those companies have been leaning out during this time.
What does Mr. Crypto KJ, thanks for the $2 super chat. He said, happy Bitcoin white paper day. Perfect. How'd you make that be like that? I always wonder how people do that. What's the keys you got to hit for that? Thank you for the super chat. You're awesome. Appreciate you.
Mr. Market want to see out of the election? Does Mr. Market care really in the long run whether it's a Harris victory or a Trump victory? Does Mr. Market really care in the short term whether there is a definitive result or a period of challenge to the results? Walk me through how I should think about the next few weeks and ultimately whether the market truly cares whether Harris wins or Trump wins.
Yeah, so I'll tell you the following, which is the number one thing the market wants to see when it comes to the election, is it wants to see the election done. right? So if the election drags
and
on,
not drag on, and not drag on. Give me a result.
So what I've seen from every market participant out there is everyone's taking down risk. The market does not like binary events. We've seen that in the past. Binary events are not what the market likes to invest in. But having said that, once we get through the election, which we will, I'm very confident we're going to get through the election, then the pivot is going to be towards what are monetary policies, and then what are the policies that sit across different sectors. I think in general, though, there's been policy convergence. Shockingly, it might seem like strange to believe, but there's been policy convergence where there's going to be investment in the U.S. in manufacturing capacity. There's going to be kind of higher walls in the U.S. relative to imports. They may come in for different forms. It may come from export restrictions. It may come from tariffs. But the magnitude of those and how rational they are relative to what's priced in the market or what's going to matter for market returns.
All right, shout out to them for that. Let's jump over to Citi's Ron Josie. Is that how you say that? I think that's how you say that. I totally might have butchered that. On what he's watching for the big tech earnings.
To big tech earnings, as Alphabet sets a high bar, crushing estimates last night, beating on the top and bottom line, reporting a 35% surge in its cloud business, and said AI investments were paying off and seemingly helping margins. Up next, Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, Apple. For more, let's talk to Ron Josie. He's a senior internet analyst at Citi Research.
All right, I didn't butcher
Ron,
it.
now that we have Alphabet in the books, what does that make you think about the rest of the field?
Look, Kelly, I'm of the belief that performance advertising is in a pretty good spot. And I think that bodes well for Meta and Pinterest and several others. We saw that with Google. We saw that with Snap to a certain extent, and we certainly saw it with Reddit. We also heard that Google Cloud did better last quarter with growth reaccelerating to 35%. I think that bodes well for AWS, for Amazon, as we see that number tomorrow. So how does it make me feel? It makes me feel as if the broader tailwinds that we saw in 2Q seem to have continued into 3Q. And given where I believe the consumer is and given the demand for performance advertising, I think that bodes well for 4Q and ideally into 25 as well.
What is going on to take sort of a sidebar trip to Pinterest? Is that just a big move for a beaten down stock, or is there something bigger to glean from that?
Look, I think the thing with Pinterest, what we're looking for is basically just continued consistent growth. And they've done a very good job of launching new products, getting newer users, particularly those Gen Z on the platform, except that they are more exposed to certain verticals that may not be in this, call it, performance advertising bucket. And so food and beverage, CPG being some of those verticals that I'd highlight there. So it's just a matter of time before we actually see that coming back.
I misspoke because what I meant was Snap, actually.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, my fault. There's the return of I don't want to call them the once high flying platforms, but Snap is a standout.
Yeah, look, I mean, the thing with Snap, we've had a lot of ups and downs, and what we're looking for, and I think the broader street's looking for, is just stability. And as they redesign their platform with Simple Snapchat, as the DR business actually does pretty well and is holding up pretty well, I think you might get that stability. Now,
Does anybody use Snapchat? I didn't even know that was like a public thing.
need to see a few quarters of that to continue.
Yeah, like kids use it and shit.
Today, but our view here is more around let's look for stability. Let's see a few quarters together of just better results.
Your view on Amazon?
Sure, Tyler. Like Amazon, in our view, there's several things that we're looking for. One, I think e-commerce demand. I think e-commerce is actually going pretty well. We talked about how consumers holding up, and back to school probably was a benefit, Prime Day, and of course we go in the holiday season. But really the focus on Amazon is two things. I'd argue it's AWS growth, and the cloud results at Google yesterday suggested AWS is pretty well positioned, or should be at least. We're looking for accelerating growth there. And then it's profitability. And there's a lot of debate whether AWS profitability comes down as they need to invest in growth. And frankly, if you're growing in the high teens, low 20s, you should be investing. But I actually think profitability would hold up relatively well. And then the second debate on profitability is that margin on North America retail. And it's just a matter of time before that just continues to go higher, notwithstanding the shorter term investments in Project Kuiper and maybe on supply ingestion that they're working with their third party.
All set says I have 50 shares of Snap at $50. It got wrecked. I didn't know it was a publicly traded company. I had no idea. I honestly didn't. Microsoft is a leader in tech and good stock, says Algar CEO Dan Chung. Let's see what they got to say over here.
Strong start to mega cap tech earnings. Alphabet moving higher on a Q3 earnings beat thanks to strong revenue growth from its cloud business. Investors now turning their attention, of course, to Microsoft and Meta, both reporting their results in overtime. Joining me now at Post 9, Algar's Dan Chung. He holds both names either personally or within the fund. Okay, so 1 down, 4 to go, at least this week. We can't really get to NVIDIA yet. We got to wait about three or so weeks. But how would you assess what you got from Alphabet?
Well, Alphabet had surprisingly good growth in Google Cloud. Search was actually stronger than people expected. So, steady as she goes, really, at Google. And there's been a lot of negative sentiment around Google.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
Yeah.
And you don't think any of it was founded? I mean, certainly not now, but there are legit concerns about market share in search, whether it's because of Microsoft and others, or even some of the upstarts that are out there, the younger upstarts like a Perplexity and some others that are getting talked about a bunch.
Yeah, no, I think there's definitely legitimate concerns around the challenges that they're going to face competitively around AI search competitors, and that still remains to be seen. So it's why Google's been in a bit of a penalty box. But meanwhile, near term, it's a good company, great company, and still doing fine.
Yeah. What about Microsoft? I mean, that stock hasn't really done anything lately either. Why not?
Yeah, so Microsoft's interesting. I mean, it's underperformed a bit in the last few months. We like it a lot. We think it's going to be a big winner in AI. We're going to hear tonight about how they did on Azure, which we think, based on Google's cloud results, got to have some pretty strong expectations about that. Meanwhile, Copilot, right? AI search enabled Copilot for Office is rolling out. It's a small step in the right direction. So we're pretty positive about Microsoft. We think it's actually a great combination of a leader in the space as well as a good stock. I mean, the valuation there is quite reasonable.
How are you thinking about spending overall? I mean, the CapEx numbers are just, like crazy, but I mean, they're in many eyes justified. Now, obviously, you need to see a return on that at some point. You're the shareholder. What do you think about that? Right. So the CapEx numbers have gone up a lot for the hyperscalers and has taken, as a result, for example, their free cash flow down near term. But we think for most of those companies, these are wise investments in the future. As a strategy, we're looking for the companies where the CapEx is flowing to, i.e. it's revenues for them. Okay. In other words, NVIDIA? That's of course the leading. Yeah. But there's a lot of data center plays, semiconductor plays, even as we've seen recently, power plays in electricity. Yeah, obviously those are popular themes. Let me ask you before I get to Meta then, since you brought up the beneficiaries of the spend. What's going on with AMD? You own that. Yeah. That stock's having a terrible day. It's trying to play catch up, I think it's fair to say. What's your own view for somebody who actually owns this stock? Yeah, so the debate internally is AMD, if you weren't looking at the results from NVIDIA and others, is doing really quite well. It's growing nicely. The growth is reaccelerating. They upped their targets for their AI data center business. However, those expectations today are much lower than they were at the beginning of the year, and the expectations for next year are still lower than they were at the beginning of the year. In other words, AMD is expected to be a huge winner. Right now, it's a winner, but you've got other places that seem to be winning the battle there. But I mean, as long as it's compared to NVIDIA in the near term, right. That's the potential problem moving forward, right? It's a problem until it's not. Correct.
Hey, question, because I don't know much about stocks. Is Uptober just a thing for crypto, or is that like stocks too, usually? Let me know in the chat if anybody knows, because I honestly don't know.
But I mean, the outlook, when do you have an idea that you really think that AMD can be a viable competitor to NVIDIA? Because that's what the market seems to only care about. Well, one of the challenges that they have is NVIDIA itself is a tremendous competitor. So NVIDIA's next generation of chips is talking about leapfrogging again. And there's kind of a fear, like, frankly, AMD's seen it before long ago. Remember when it was a competitor to Intel, but never really could gain market share? It lived in that sort of middle land for decades. So we'll see in the next year, I think, whether or not AMD can.
Dude, NVIDIA's been killing it compared to AMD.
Start to gain back.
Jesus, dude, 1.46% versus 181%. What the hell?
Share
that's
against
crazy.
NVIDIA, but for now, it remains sort of a second source supplier. And the fear is that NVIDIA, not only ramping up the technology, but improving supply, may sort of cap AMD's near-term opportunity.
I mean, since we're talking about NVIDIA, which is the best performer over the last 3 months out of the group, and stock's been remarkable, the other one that's right on its heels is Meta. Yeah. So how are you viewing that? Because, they went through the year of efficiency. They seem to be getting it right. The market obviously has been giving them the benefit of the doubt. What now? How high is this bar now that the stock has done quite well into the print?
Well, the remarkable thing about Meta and a lot of these companies is even at their size, they're really growing tremendously well, mid-teens to near 20% for companies that are already giants. We love Meta. It's one of our largest holdings. I think the metaverse didn't play out the way Mark Zuckerberg thought, and the name change is kind of odd there. But oddly enough, most of those investments have definitely benefited the AI efforts at Meta. And so they're a leader in applying that to, of course, social media and to advertising.
Interesting. All right, jumping over to next Congress will be most pro crypto Congress ever, says Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong. I've been waiting to watch this. Let's do it.
Shares of Coinbase under pressure after Q3 numbers came out just moments ago. Shares are down about 4% right now. But joining us in an exclusive interview before the call, Coinbase co-founder and CEO Brian Armstrong. Brian, it's great to have you on the show. Welcome.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks for having me, Morgan.
All right, so I do want to talk about the quarter because trading volumes fell, though, a little bit better than street expectations. Transaction volumes down 27%. What got my attention particularly here is subscription and services revenue, which was also down 7%, largely due to lower average crypto asset prices. I'm honing in on that because I know that's an area where you're focusing a lot of time and attention as the company looks to build beyond and expand beyond simply just trading activity. So what are you seeing there?
Yeah, he's definitely got a barcode tattooed on the back of his neck.
Yeah, well, you're absolutely correct. Our subscription and services revenue has been a way for us to diversify away from transaction fees, which are purely market dependent. It's hard for us to predict what the next quarter of volatility is going to look like, just like it's hard to predict what the S&P 500 is going to do next quarter. Subscription and services still is somewhat market dependent, but it's less so. It's allowed us to make our business a lot more predictable. And I have to say, things are going well in that department. Our subscription and services are on pace to surpass $2 billion in revenue this year. That's up from about $1.4 billion last year. So otherwise, we had a positive quarter, seventh consecutive quarter of positive adjusted EBITDA, our fourth consecutive quarter of positive net income. So even though the market conditions were a little bit weaker, which is not in our control, I think we've still managed to have a pretty good quarter.
Brian, good to see you again. Give me an update, if you will, about the derivatives platform and how that's trending.
Yeah, well, the derivatives space is really important in crypto. Actually, about 75% of all trading volume in crypto is happening in derivatives now. The take rate or the fees on it are lower than in the spot, but it is the majority of volume. And so we made a big push this year to launch our international derivatives exchange. We also launched a U.S. futures market here in a regulated and trusted way. And when we go talk to the big parties out there that do trading in the derivative space, they all say, we're looking for a trusted, compliant counterparty to do this aspect of our business. And Coinbase consistently comes up as the trusted brand that they want to work with. So we've made a big effort this year, not just launching it, but we've got a lot of new order books live. We're building the features that our customers want around, such as a unified margin, some things like that are helping them get off the ground. So it's still early days on derivatives, but we've made a dent in it. And I think 2025 will probably really hit our stride on the derivative space.
What's interesting to me about your shareholder letter, we're less than a week away from the election. We know crypto is on the ballot, and you call it out here in your shareholder letter and in earnings, and you basically say that this will be the next major milestone in your ongoing work to drive regulatory clarity for crypto. So how are you gaming out election outcomes, and what would you like to see from a regulatory standpoint?
Yeah, well, I'm really proud of where we are from a regulatory point of view as compared to just, say, a year or two ago when I feel like the crypto industry was under siege and there was just a handful of folks in D.C. that were really trying to attack the industry. Today, it couldn't be more different. Both presidential candidates are courting the crypto voter. There's about 355 candidates running for federal office in Congress and other areas that have gotten an A or a B score on standwithcrypto.org. They've actually filled out their position, made it known to the voters. So no matter what happens in this election, it's going to be the most pro-crypto Congress that we've ever had. And I think that just means that the U.S. is more likely to get legislation passed that will allow this industry to flourish, allow investors and consumers to be protected in the United States. And that's really what Coinbase has been advocating for many, many years now. So, it's actually something that we're really proud to have supported these organizations like standwithcrypto.org and Fairshake, which ended up being the largest bipartisan PAC in this election. So I think the crypto voter is really playing a massive role in this election, and we'll get our final results here in a few days.
Eat shit, Gary.
I wonder if Gary Gensler will have a job anywhere after this. All right, Bitcoin hits pause after approaching all-time high. CNBC Crypto World, guys, that like button. Appreciate you for hanging out. Let's do it.
Today, Bitcoin retreats after racing toward all-time highs. President Biden thanks the Nigerian president for the humanitarian release of Binance executive Tigran Gambaryan. And
He also called all Trump supporters trash. If you guys didn't hear that.
Ali weighs in on where crypto prices are headed as election day approaches.
We're all trash. Damn it.
Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Tanea McKeel. Crypto prices are mixed after yesterday's rally. By noon Eastern, Bitcoin dipped 0.5% after coming within striking distance.
Sorry, garbage. Yes, it was garbage. You're right. It was garbage.
Of its all-time high of around $73,800 yesterday. Ether, meanwhile, gained 1.3% this morning, while XRP dropped to 52 cents. Okay, let's talk about the top stories. President Biden spoke with Nigeria's president to thank him for the release of Binance executive Tigran Gambaryan. The White House announced the two leaders spoke on Tuesday and said that President Biden underscored his appreciation for President Tinubu's leadership in securing the release on humanitarian grounds. Gambaryan originally faced money laundering and licensing allegations, but was released last week to allow him to receive medical treatment in the United States. Next, Florida's chief financial officer says the state should consider cryptocurrencies for the state's retirement system. On Tuesday, CFO Jimmy Patronis issued a request before the State Board of Administration to report on the feasibility, risk, and potential benefits of directing a portion of the state's retirement system funds into crypto. In the letter, Patronis said Bitcoin could help diversify the state's portfolio and provide a secure hedge against the volatility of other major asset classes. He also pointed to two other states, Michigan and Wisconsin, which have invested small portions of their pension funds into crypto. All right, back to markets for our main story. All eyes are still on the U.S. election, which is less than a week away. I spoke with Munib Ali, CEO of Trust Machines, about how the two candidates could shape crypto prices as we head into 2025.
I feel like 6 days, right?
Munib, thank you so much for joining us again on Crypto World. It's great to see you. Kind of an exciting day yesterday with Bitcoin just approaching its all-time high, not quite, and then pulling back a little bit today, not too much, and also not that surprising. what do you make of the move? What is driving this right now? There's so much going on with the election and with the macro environment and with the stock market this week. What's on your mind?
I think, first of all, thanks for having me. I think there are two things that I think are happening right now. One is that I've seen the same trend for Bitcoin maybe like 3 times already, right? Like maybe the last time that we talked, I said that just wait for 6 months after the halving. And I think we're roughly at that mark. We waited for that 6-month period. So I think people have all these models where they look at previously what happened, and a lot of trading activity happens on those models. And those models is what we have seen, that roughly 6 months, everyone is sort of like waiting for the real economic impact of the halving to kick in, because it changes the mining economics and how much Bitcoin is actually being sold and is available. So I think that's like one thing. The other thing, which I believe is sort of happening, is if you look at poly market, the chances of Trump winning are much, much higher now, and they weren't before. So just in the last 2 weeks or so, I think Trump has gone up to like 66% chance of winning versus Kamala, which is now at 34%. And I think that the industry is watching that, because Trump has been a lot more supportive of Bitcoin. He showed up at Bitcoin Nashville, gave a speech there. So I do think it's correlated with the poly market data as well.
I do want to ask you about that briefly, kind of double click on that topic. Earlier in the spring, like you said, Trump came out with these big overtures towards the crypto industry, positioned himself as the pro-crypto candidate. And at the time, Harris had been much more muted, hadn't said anything, and we didn't know her stance. And then you did start to see this narrative of Trump good, Harris bad for crypto. And I think that really softened over the months after. And it seemed like consensus had kind of grown to a place where the attitude was more like, we're moving forward no matter what.
That's because she didn't have a choice.
What happens? We're leaving the Biden administration behind, and we can kind of, turn a new page in crypto. And now that we're a week to the election, it feels like we're going back to that, more partisan sentiment. Is there a narrative in everything that I just recapped that you agree with? Do you yourself agree that Trump would be particularly positive for crypto, or that Harris would be particularly bad, or is it somewhere in the middle?
Do we even need to hear that? Obviously. I mean, listen, he just opened up his own, it's not his exchange. What is it, the world? The hell's it even called? I don't even know. World Financial or something. Isn't some sort of exchange type deal. Has to do with cryptocurrency. He's making his own crypto. He's making NFTs. Obviously, he's got a bit more in crypto than her, but they're both forced into the crypto thing. They don't have a choice. There's too many people that want crypto to be a thing. Do you know what I mean? So they don't have a choice from here on out.
Yeah, so I think personally, I prefer a bipartisan approach to this industry. Personally, I've made donations on both sides, trying to educate people on both sides. But I have noticed a shift. I think initially Trump was very much came out as pro, and then Democrats were sort of muted, and I think that the tone shifted a little bit. But one thing that I have noticed is that they still seem to be in early stages, right? They're testing the waters a little bit. They're not being as consistent or as aggressive that the industry might want to see them, right? So I think there is still a difference that I'm feeling between on the Trump side. They're very sort of clear, and they're very much in a strong way coming out and saying that this is important. This is just like property rights, just like even gun ownership, right? This is a topic that people get into a lot of debates with, but it actually resonates with a lot of their audience, that just like they believe in property rights, gun ownership, they believe in the right to self-custody or Bitcoin, and they view it as something important. So I do think that the tone has shifted from the Democrat side, but maybe it's not aggressive enough or not clear enough right now. That's my opinion.
That's the best way to play that. I'm gonna get off of this guy talking. I appreciate them having a little conversation there, but I want to jump into let's play a little bit of Lark Davis, so we'll jump into Altcoin Daily. Mr. DJ Death Star, thanks for being a member for 9 months, dude. He said, hey, hope things are well. My body is ready for the bowl. Perfect. Love it. Thanks for being a member, dude. I appreciate you very much.
A Bitcoin emergency is happening right now. A supply crisis is underway. And oh yeah, we got half a percentage point away from hitting a new high last night. That was very exciting. But the real story is that we are in a deep supply crisis right now. And we'll discuss this we got some other altcoin news, some narrative updates. All that.
The ETF's been buying up so much Bitcoin. It's crazy. They're going to, as a whole, the ETF market is going to hold more coins than Satoshi's original wallet, which is 1.1 million, right? It's crazy.
That kind of fun stuff. So we're going to dive into all that fun stuff, and let's just get into it. So this is the big story of the day. Look at this. This blows my freaking mind right down here. Look at this.
Oh, shit.
The inflows, the Bitcoin ETF products, $870 million yesterday.
That's double of what they get. I think they only get like what, 450 a day or something.
170 million frickin' Biden inflated garbage US dollars. What the heck is going on? This is crazy, man. These are wild numbers. Now we can add that to the $479 million from Monday. And Bitcoin ETFs in the first 2 days of trading this week have added $1.3 billion more. That's crazy, man. And if you look at the total inflows for the month of October, multiple billions. But just to put this in perspective for you, how insane this is, how wild this is, how stupid all of this is getting, and how crazy it's going to get as we go on through the market cycle here. Look at this. That $870 million of Bitcoin equals about 12,000 actual Bitcoins. That, for perspective, is almost an entire supply of miners mining. That'd be about 13,400 or 300, something like that. So 27 days equivalent, okay? Wall Street, in one freaking day, swallowed an entire month of Bitcoin supply production.
That is crazy. That's wild. Ogre, yes. So the BTC shortage in supply that was predicted is finally happening. Yes, 100%.
And that's just one day.
That's a big
Again,
deal.
we've had
That's
billions of
big
inflow
deal.
this month. I would say, just back of the napkin math here, Bitcoin supply has probably been gobbled up to the equivalent of 4 or 5 months by Wall Street just this month. So in 1 month, they've got half a year's new supply from miners. You cannot keep doing that for very long before the price just keeps going up and up and up and up. There simply is not enough available Bitcoin sitting on exchanges for the price not to keep going up.
Dude, that's 1 day. That's 1 day. You get a couple more days like that, man, this price is going to skyrocket.
Okay? Okay, basic economic stuff here. Beautiful chart right here.
That's crazy.
Look at this. We came half a percentage point away. Man, we were so close. So close. So close. Oh, beautiful, though. Beautiful. Look at that. This is a weekly candle here we're looking at, by the way, in case you're curious. And yes, we are still deep in that MACD bull cross. We're loving that. Last time we had a MACD bull cross on the weekly like this, the price went up almost 200%. Perspective, therefore. If we were to have a similar situation, the price of Bitcoin to go up to $200,000, which lines up the 3.618 Fibonacci line, which is my top target for this cycle. Perfect. Already starting to see some pretty crazy numbers coming out with this Bitcoin pump. I've seen numbers $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $700,000 just in today scrolling through Twitter. That's going to be the top. No one's bullish enough, blah, blah, blah. We shall see. I hope that I'm not being bullish enough, but I also want to be realistic and not screw myself up and get sort of diluted into greed and euphoria when the top comes. That's why I keep repeating to myself these number targets, and targets are targets. You have to watch market conditions, etc. But still, it's important to keep some kind of grounded perspective in my mind anyway. I'm sure we'll get a bit crazy later on when things start happening, but gosh darn, man. Gosh darn.
You got to have a plan going into this. If you don't know when you want to sell and you don't stick to it, that's when you're going to get wrecked. For sure. You're going to ride it up and you're going to ride it down because you're going to hope it's going to keep going, and it's not. When it stops, it's going to stop dead in its tracks and you'll be screwed. So when BTC gets high, altcoin season should explode due to BTC shortage. Yeah, well, people are looking to make money any way they can. You know, it typically after Bitcoin runs, you'll see an altcoin season, right? People will jump into alts because they take their profits and they can buy alts low, and then the alts will rise. It's kind of like a seesaw, right? They went on this side and then they jump on the opposite side and wait for that one to go up. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense, actually. But you kind of get the gist, right? They take the profits from here, throw them into these ones, and then these ones rise too. It's kind of whatever. Rising tide, what floats all ships? What's that saying? Let me know in the chat. All right, I'm going to jump off this because he's just going to do chart and stuff. I really don't want to watch this. I want to get into this. I don't have too much more time. Big crypto price move coming. Too late to invest into Bitcoin. It's never too late. Let's do it.
Welcome back to Power Lunch. We've got a crypto rally today as Bitcoin is just short of its all-time highs.
Bitcoin holders are euphoric right now. We are less than 1% away from all-time highs. This is the number that Bitcoin has to clear to make it official, if you're wondering. Look, I've been telling you for months, last chance, last chance. Smash the like button because it seems like exactly what we thought would happen is playing out. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, and just so you're aware, this is what every traditional investor just woke up to this morning.
So Bitcoin is trading at its highest point since March. It's up more than 5% in the last 24 hours, with Bitcoin's trading volume topping $31 billion and more than $224 million in short positions liquidated over that same window. Now, meanwhile, stocks tied to digital asset prices like Riot Platforms, Coinbase, and MicroStrategy are all rallying this morning, along with the wider crypto market, as Bitcoin breaks past that key 70K resistance level. Now, spot Bitcoin ETFs have also seen a surge of inflows, adding over $3.1 billion in just the last 2 weeks, bringing the total market cap of those funds to nearly $73 billion since they launched in January. I've been speaking with analysts, and they say that with 1 week to go until the general election here in the U.S., investors are increasingly bullish that no matter who wins, it will be a net benefit for the industry. And already, guys, we are seeing options traders increase bets that regardless of who takes the White House, Bitcoin is poised to hit that 80K mark this year.
So the big question everybody is wondering, I personally got 3 texts about this myself. Am I too late? Is it too late to buy Bitcoin? No, it's not too late. Wall Street is just getting in. 90% of the world has yet to get in. It's like 25 years ago asking, am I too late to buy Amazon?
Look at this dude. Look at this dude. Richest man alive, or one of them. And you never know it.
Bitcoin has so much growing to do. The more people who own it, the stronger the network effect, the more valuable it becomes, the more people buy it. Repeat, 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 rinse and repeat. So, is it too late to buy Bitcoin? I love this conversation they have about exactly this on CNBC. Especially pay attention to the end of this.
I saw Bill Miller last week. He was obviously been very bullish on Bitcoin. He's sort of, I don't know if we're going to use the word retired. You're never retired, as you know, in this game. And a lot of people have come up to him and said, look, you told us 10 years ago to buy this. Is it too late? And he said to them, Chris, I'm curious what you think, that it's like buying Amazon in 2014. Yes, it was up a lot from the IPO, but its big run was still to come.
I tend to agree with that. I mean, look, I'm of the age where people believed in gold in the 70s and 80s. And it is the gold for people 40 and under, and also Bill Miller and me. I mean, I do think it's a hedge against inflation. I do think there's limited supply. That's the whole gimmick. So don't scoff at it.
By the way, speaking of Bill Miller, he gets it. Bitcoin is the new gold. But unlike gold, where they can increase the supply flow with increased demand, Bitcoin's supply flow cannot be increased, no matter how much demand. That's why Bitcoin is prone to these big rallies.
So Bitcoin is the only economic entity where supply is unaffected by the demand. So even with gold, if gold, which is $1,800 today, if gold goes to $18,000, there will be a lot more gold mined because mines that are unprofitable will become profitable. Only 21 million Bitcoin can ever be created or close to it. It doesn't matter if Bitcoin is 100,000 or 20 million, there's only going to be that many of them. All you have to really believe is that the demand for Bitcoin will grow faster than 1.5%, over the next number of years. And the price inexorably will go up.
Hey, and speaking of Bitcoin 2.0, the state of Florida just endorsed a strategic Bitcoin reserve. They're pushing pension funds to buy Bitcoin. The CFO of Florida wrote, Bitcoin is like digital gold. It could help diversify the state's portfolio and provide a secure hedge against the volatility of other major asset classes.
So, real quick, DJ Death Star, thank you for the $20 super chat, man. You didn't have to do that. He said, working 3 jobs just to donate to the channel. LOL, JK, I will be able to catch the show now. Thanks for all you do. I appreciate you. Thank you very much for that.
Yes, they're asking about it, and any asset that goes up as much as crypto, they're curious. Do you think that Trump or Harris will be better from a regulatory standpoint for crypto?
I think that with respect to
if it's buffering, refresh to YouTube. I don't know why YouTube's been doing that lately. It does it to me too when I watch lives, but no, we're still here. Just refresh the your thing. I don't know, get out and come back.
The big institutions, they would like to see Donald Trump because they know what they're going to get at the SEC. And then with respect to the crypto investor, I think that regardless of who wins, they're very optimistic that we're going to see the kinds of bills passed that are going to open up the doors to institutional money. And that's really what the ecosystem needs to scale. They need a lot of Wall Street cash onboarded into crypto.
Whoever becomes the next president of the U.S. will be but a blip in Bitcoin's story. People are too focused on this election. I'm much more excited about what comes after the election. Listen.
I would like to look at what happens beyond the election, right? Regardless of who wins. I'm not making a call, and I'm not saying Bitcoin is either. But what happens to the entire ecosystem? Is there a feeling like this is that 80,000, 90,000, 100,000? Some people are calling for Bitcoin 1 million in the course of the next 5 to 7 years. What does the outlook look like past the election?
Well, part of the reason why the industry raised $278 million, more than 18x what it raised in the 2020 election cycle, is because they're trying to put cash behind House and Senate candidates who are ultimately going to comprise the Congress that's going to pass some of these crypto bills into law. For years now, we've had different bills that have come to the floor. Nothing has been passed. And I can tell you that the first 2 line items on the congressional agenda are trying to repeal SAB 121, which is this niche accounting bulletin that's standing in the way of banks being able to custody cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, and then passing FIT 21. Now, this is a market legislation bill that essentially would lay out jurisdictional authority between existing regulators like the SEC and the CFTC, and institutions say, hey, this is what we need to feel comfortable jumping into the ecosystem.
Just in, BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF just surpassed 30 billion. Most people don't even realize this is happening. My friends, is it too late to buy Bitcoin? I don't think so. Larry Fink doesn't
That guy laying with his feet up on the couch, that's right.
think so. BlackRock is buying. Wall Street is buying. They're not in this to get rich in 2025. BlackRock is in this because crypto has decades to go, just like Amazon in the 2000s. Don't sleep on this. I'm so happy whenever somebody comes up to me and says, I changed my life in crypto. I got involved. And I hope that for you. Hey, my name is Aaron at Altcoin.
No. All right. That's going to do it. That is going to do it. All right. I'm going to get into the recap segment of things for anybody just joining. You guys didn't know, Bitcoin, 72,282 bucks. Ethereum at 2639. I do want to show you guys one thing just because it was funny. No, I'm not sure if you guys are going to like it, but it's all right. There we go.
No matter what they try, they just can't stop the support for Trump.
Can I ask you, is there any part of you as a mother of two daughters that this is the man who talked about grabbing women by the pussy? Is there any part of you that feels this is not my guy? I don't want this guy to be talking like this about any woman at all. Do you not despair for the future in any way?
Sweetie, I would rather be grabbed by the pussy than have a pussy for president.
I came across that yesterday and I fucking died. All right. Let's get back to it. All right. Again, Ethereum 2639. Solana 175 bucks. We got Caspa killing it today, 11.5 cents. A little over 11.5 cents. Up 8.44%. We got LTC at 71.34. ETC at 19.14. And yeah, I'm that was straight facts. It was just funny. It's funny when videos like that come out. I totally forgot about it. I sent it to somebody. I was checking my Discord and I saw it again and I was like, oh, I gotta show that. I gotta show that. There you go. There you go. Linked in the chat. All right, Dogecoin 17 cents, looking fantastic. ETC's at 19.15. Nothing else really jumping out at me. What's this? Pyth is up 39 cents or up to 39 cents, 5.86%. Looking pretty good. Everything's looking really good, to be honest. Floating sideways, but the only thing that I've noticed, flashbang, is the fear and greed index. Extreme greed, when it gets stuck here, I don't like this. I want to see it come under 75. If it goes under 75, I think we're going to be very fine throughout the I don't know, the election, right? But if it continues to climb this extreme greed into the election, I think we're going to see a sell the news event at least a little bit. That's just my opinion. I don't know what you guys think about it, but again, don't take advice from people on YouTube. That's probably your first mistake. That's definitely your first mistake. All right, that's it. Got to get out of here. You guys, I appreciate you all for hanging out with me on the daily grind. Hopefully you guys have a happy and safe Halloween. Check your kids' candy, please. People are fucking weird. Make sure they don't get anything like, dude, there was like a needle in Twizzlers or something the other day. I saw a freaking news clip on it. It's insane. So just make sure you guys check your kids' candy. People are weird. And be safe. Have a good time. Don't get hit by cars. Stay out of the street. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace out and have a good day.
Eat shit.